The Silk Road was a vast trade network connecting Eurasia and North Africa via land and sea routes. The Silk Road earned its name from Chinese silk, a highly valued commodity that merchants transported along these trade networks. Advances in technology and increased political stability caused an increase in trade. The opening of more trade routes caused travellers to exchange many things: animals, spices, ideas, and diseases. In the 1st century CE, during the reign of Emperor Tiberius, silk had become a big problem. The luxury fabric, imported at great cost from China, had become a symbol of decadence and excess among Romans. In order to make their supply of silk last longer, merchants unravelled and rewove their fabric into thinner, sheer garments. This practice had a side effect of making the garments nearly transparent. Seneca the Younger, a writer and imperial advisor, complained of people wearing silk. "I can see clothes of silk if materials that do not hide the body, nor even one's decency, can be called clothes." Such flocks of maids' labour, so that the adulteress may be visible through her thin dress, so that her husband has no more acquaintance than any outsider or foreigner with his wife's body. In the year 14 CE, the Roman historian Tacitus reported that the imperial senate made it illegal for men to wear silk, resolving that Oriental Eastern silks should no longer degrade the male sex. This prohibition on silk did not last. The demand for silk continued to drive trade between the Roman Empire, China, India, and many places in between. To understand what caused this trade in silk, we need to look at how Chinese silk got to Rome. Let's find out. State power and the Silk Road. One cause of expanded trade was the growth of imperial power. Near the end of the 2nd century BC, Emperor Wu of Han mounted many campaigns against the nomadic Xiongnu people. Xiongnu horsemen had raided Chinese settlements along the northern border for many years. Emperor Wu looked for a new source of horses for his cavalry in order to deal with the threat of the Xiongnu. Emperor Wu sent an emissary named Zhang Qian to find allies in the fight against the Xiongnu. Zhang returned to China, eager to discuss the wonders he had seen in Fergana, modern-day Uzbekistan. Along with rice, wheat, and grapes, the region produced hardy, heavenly horses. Fergana horses became a highly desired trade item in China. China imported so many horses that the Dayuan people who controlled the Fergana Valley refused to sell any more of the horses. This led to a 3-year conflict known as the War of the Heavenly Horses. By 101 BIC, the Fergana Valley belonged to Han China. Control of the Fergana Valley also opened a route to the west. With a new supply of horses, Han China projected its new military strength throughout Asia. The expansion of Han control led to the First Pax Sinica, or Chinese peace. During this time, the standard of living in China rose and cities grew in size. Economic growth and political stability led to increased demand for luxury goods from far-off places. The Roman Empire was expanding during this time too. Victory in the Punic Wars gave Rome control over the western Mediterranean Sea. Over the next few centuries, Rome expanded to control all of the Mediterranean shoreline. The 1st century CE saw the beginning of the Pax Romana Roman peace. The Pax Romana lasted about 200 years and was a period of relatively few wars. As with Han China, political stability brought more trade. Rome gained access to overseas trade routes to India via Egypt and began to trade regularly. Although Rome and Han China expanded greatly, there was still a lot of distance between them. Central Asia is covered with mountains, deserts, and vast grasslands. Traders provided an essential link between the Roman and Han empires.